I want to know, first off, I don't think any of us thought it was going to cost us any money, right? Thought we were going to try to make money, right? But I want to know, from that very first conversation where you were trying to wrap your brain around whether you really could do it, you had time, you didn't, you had a lot of things going on. Did you have the time to do it? Did it work out the way you thought? Was it more or different or what you expected?
It was better than expected, honestly, from a times perspective. I mean, I was really worried about, and I asked you a ton of questions about, how much time am I really going to put into this? Luckily for me, between Jared, following me around everywhere I go on any given race weekend, a lot of times he's around me during the week, even when I'm not at a track. You got Travis there helping on the producing side of things. They helped me be prepared, even if I wasn't going into each episode. So, making sure we had shared notes, and, if I asked them, hey, I didn't see that wreck, show me the wreck, let me see the comments, and then expand upon it from there. So, honestly, from a times perspective, I think that it was better than what I expected. And everything it's everything I thought it would be in the first year. So, yeah, pretty happy with it.
Did you ever have comments on your show that got a driver's attention?
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely saw it in some drivers' interviews, right? I'm sure he'll say this Monday or whatever, right? So they're tuning in, which, I mean, that's what we hoped for, right? We hoped to connect to new race fans to kind of educate them on what they just saw or maybe what they didn't see. And then we also wanted to expand upon the nuts and bolts of the series to the avid race fan that tunes in every week to give them an insider's perspective of, what maybe the business of NASCAR, whatever it might be that, that don't see behind the scenes. So that part of it was really fun to me, and really, I feel like we connected with the people we wanted to connect to, for sure.
Yeah. You made a choice to record at a unique part of the week, right? You wanted to record immediately, so
right away.
What was your typical record time? What time of day?
Usually 10 a.m. Give or take a couple minutes.
Monday morning.
Monday morning. Yeah, that would be if we.
Sometimes though, I thought you did it right after the race, or
I did. If we got back before dark, we would do it. Yeah. So really, the race needed to be within probably an hour flight of Charlotte. Then I could come back and do it right away. I actually regret not doing it more right after the race, even no matter what the time was, because that Monday morning sucks sometimes, right? So I wish, as a driver, you can't sleep anyway on race night, so I might as well just do it whenever.
Yeah, and the thoughts of what happened and everything's fresh on your mind, your emotion about it, is a little bit more genuine and real. Monday, you had time to kind of think about it and get over some things. You talked about how, so you named this podcast Actions Detrimental.
Kyle Larson came up with that name, by the way.
Kyle did. I mean, it's perfect, right? when I was here and names were being discussed, and there were some good ones, but that's perfect.
Yeah,
it fits, right? Then, literally 5 shows in, I mean, we just really getting our feet going, right? Getting our legs. The thing at Phoenix with Chastain, and then the comments, which
that was worth it though. Let me tell you,
right.
Because that $50,000, whatever it was, the points didn't matter until they did. It turns out they didn't at the end of the day when it came down to that regular season championship. But that ended it with me and Chastain. It was worth $50,000 to me for it to be done.
Yeah.
And whether it was the actions on the track or, talking through a mic, to them at times, it was worth it to me to get that behind us. It just been going on too long.
So you didn't have a podcast in the past when you'd been in situations like that, right? And so how was the podcast an outlet? Or was it it was an opportunity for you to kind of just blow off some steam, right? Get it off your chest.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's an opportunity that otherwise I would have spouted off to the media. as soon as the race is over and they're chasing me down pit lane before I hop on a golf cart and go home.
Right.
So it was an outlet. And what I liked about it was, it's what you told me it was going to be, is that you've got more time to process your thoughts. You got more time to expand upon the subject that you're speaking on. So that way, it doesn't get cut up in the media so much to where they grab one sentence, make a headline out of it. Next thing you know, it looks negative until you actually, how many fans really don't even click on an article? They just see the headline, they see the picture, and they come up with a narrative, right? And so it really allowed me to expand upon thoughts on certain subjects. So I like that. Did
you catch yourself throughout the year in the media and go, mentally, maybe not outwardly saying this, but like, I'm gonna save that for my show. Yep. I don't want that. I want to make sure this narrative's correct, and the way to do that is right. Keep it for my show. Did you find yourself sort of tagging things like that?
It was, and it's you kind of told me that was coming. You said that you'll notice, Denny, you're gonna start saving a little bit for the show. Like, you're not gonna just spill it all out there during your 20 minutes of media availability on Saturday. And a lot of it, too, allowed me time to really think about it, right? There would be shared notes. And then on top of that, if I'm doing a media availability, there's no one countering or challenging what I might be saying, right? Where Travis or Jared has an opportunity to do that. So I think that sometimes stirs up some mental thoughts of like, well, is this the right take or not?
Yeah, I really thought Jared did a great job all year. I don't know him very well.
Yeah,
we were wanting you to be excited about your show, so you had some influence over what it looked like, what it was going to be like, and you said Jared's going to be the guy. And a lot of times when like a driver particularly is the host of the show, it's hard to find people that'll counter them. It's hard to find people that'll hold them accountable or say, no, that's not really how it happened, man, or you're not really telling the whole truth, right? And you need somebody on your show that can do that. So I think we ought to celebrate him, man. Jared did a good job
100%
adding to the show, keeping things in line, having a great perspective, an alternative opinion, and y'all did have great chemistry, man.
Yeah.
So who is Jared? How did you meet him? How did you hire him? Tell us why we should be excited about him going forward.
Yeah, so Jared he's a great guy first. He's just a great dude. We hired him as my director of social media back in 2019. We saw kind of where NASCAR was going with, promotions, and we knew that, I needed to work on, my social and it's one thing for one driver to do it. I get it. But I really challenged Rod Moskowitz at Pro Sport Management to, I want you, listen, Rod, I pay you a fee, right? You manage me. You're my agent, manager. You negotiate deals. You go get deals. You help me build a race team. All these things, right? But I feel like a service that you should provide to all the drivers is social media, and I think that's a very underrated part of what we have to do. We represent a lot of companies. There's hundreds of thousands of FedEx employees or whatever it may be that I represent. So I need to make sure I'm doing that the right way and growing my fan base. So he, kind of changed his business model into here's the services that we're going to provide for our drivers. One of them being social media. So, that was something that actually was a big recruiting tool, I think, for, William Byron to go over to Pro Sport, is that William saw my social and was like, man, they do a really good job over there. And that it helped, with that process, I think. So, it was part of Pro Sport Management's hiring to manage Denny Hamlin's social media. And, when people ask, like, well, how much is Jared, how much is me, you pretty much can get a good idea of who's doing what. Like, if we have Molly's picks for a Super Bowl or for football picks, Jared edits all out. I send him a video, he edits it all up, puts it in there, and gets it done. So he's been my social media guy for the last 4 years. And I just knew that when you told me kind of, here's what you need to look for in a co-host, I'm like, this guy, he knows just enough to be dangerous.